Eventually, as they get into the atmosphere, the deployment of the drogue and the main parachutes, and all of that ends with splashdown right off the Florida coast. At that point, teams from SpaceX will move in with their recovery ship, grab the capsule out of the water, and work to get Bob and Doug out of Dragon after a successful mission in space. So we are 26 minutes away from launch. Fueling of Falcon 9 is continuing. Let's check in one more time down with the team at Kennedy. Murray?
All right, thanks, Dan. We are so pumped right now because things have cleared up and it looks like we might actually do this today. If you're just joining us, we are now 25 minutes, 46 seconds and counting from the first launch of astronauts to the International Space Station from U.S. soil in 9 years. This will mark the beginning of a new era where more people will be able to fly to space than ever before. And we want to share with you the results of a poll we asked a little earlier. If you could go to the moon, now it's not where the astronauts are going today, they're going to the space station, but if you could go to the moon, would you rather visit the South Pole where no one has been before or the Apollo 11 landing site? And it was a pretty even split. We had 46% of you say you would go to the moon's South Pole, and 54% of you would go to the Apollo 11 landing site. I kind of side with the Apollo 11 landing site because I'm a history buff and I want to see where Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin set foot. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Lauren, which place would you go?
I'm with you on that one. And I would love to go see that flag there and those footsteps, those footprints there should still be there, right? There's no wind up there.
Should still be there. Leland, how about you?
I think I'm with both of you because it's just like, the meatball, the classic.
Yeah.
Going to the classic spot, and that's where all of it started. That's where all that inspiration came, even though I was an antenna engineer not seeing it. But besides that, that's history.
And hopefully maybe it wouldn't have to be one or the other.
That's true.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we're going to learn more from going where we've never been before.
Exactly.
And so we need to go to the South Pole too. And we are thrilled to see all of you following along online. Thank you for answering our poll. And we're going to go over to Tahira, who's been monitoring all the action with less than 25 minutes to go. Tahira, I'm sure things are heating up online.
Hey, Marie, I mean, you're completely right. Now that we have that go for launch, people are on the edge of their seat right now waiting on this historic moment to take flight. As you can see, photos are still coming in of just everyone around the country showing their excitement for this launch. And it's really been a touching thing to see how everyone's kept this excitement going from Wednesday's first attempt. So we just took a look at numbers, and we are now over 3 million people tuning in for this historic launch. And so for me personally, I just want to wish Bob and Doug the best of luck. This will be my own first time watching humans lift off to space from the United States, and it's just going to be a super emotional moment. For that, Marie, back to you at Kennedy for these last minutes before launch.
All right, thanks, Tahira. And Leland, we got 23 minutes and some change to go. What do you think Bob and Doug are feeling right now?
I think, they're very calm, cool, and collected as test pilots, but I think they're thinking about what are the steps that I have to take if a malfunction or something happens. And so the nominal stuff is all kind of automated, but if something happens where they have to intervene with those touch screens, that's what they're thinking.
Mm-hmm. And we're just inside 23 minutes now. So on Wednesday, we were 5 minutes further in the countdown when we heard that call to scrub. And the weather was still very touch and go at this point on Wednesday, but today, it at least for right now, I don't want to jinx it. I'm afraid to even say it out loud, but it looks better today.
Yeah, and it feels like I'm feeling it a lot more than I did on Wednesday.
Right.
And, speaking of Bob and Doug and them being really calm and cool and collected, having had the opportunity to be in meetings with them and to watch them train, I have to say, and to all of my friends who work with them every single day, the feedback is always just what great people they are.
Right.
And just how not just bright and sharp they are, but just good people.
Right.
And around the office, we often refer to them as the dads.
Yeah. The dads?
They're the dads. They're dads. They are dads.
Okay.
And we've met their families. And when you see people on that very personal level, it starts to mean so much. They are a part of our team. They're not a customer. They're our team. They're not a payload. They're our team. They're a family. And so we're just so excited to see the dads up there today.
Yeah. Go dads.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go send it over to Gary for an update from Houston. Gary?
Hey, Marie. The space station team here is focused. All eyes are on the system checks that are happening across the board, and we're listening in as we close in on launch. And I can tell you that things are looking very good. Chris Cassidy will be watching from the International Space Station, right now flying over the Pacific Ocean. It's heading to cross right over the launch pad. We might even get some good views from the station. Hope to be capturing those. We'll have the launch view on the big screen up front, and everyone's excited to see our 2 crew members on their way to the International Space Station. But before we get to it, I just want to pass on good luck from the entire flight operations community here in Houston. It's always exciting to be doing something wholly new and history-making with station operations, and we can't wait to see our team members Bob and Doug in low Earth orbit and heading to the International Space Station. That's it from us here in Mission Control Houston. I'll send it back over to the team in Hawthorne for the latest happening there. John.
T-minus 20 minutes, 30 seconds. We're continuing to count down. Everything is still looking good for launch of Falcon 9 and Dragon. 22 minutes, 45 seconds after the hour.
Stage
right
2
now on the
RP1
right-hand
load is
side,
complete.
you can see a large white cloud coming off of the strongback. That is normal. As we get ready to load the second stage with liquid oxygen, we have to chill in the plumbing lines going up that strongback. And so as we relieve pressure, the moist, humid Florida air condenses around it, and that gives you the cloud. So that tells us that things are actually on schedule. We did begin propellant load at T-minus 35 minutes. Fuel loading on the second stage, I believe we just heard the call out that it is complete. First stage fuel load is continuing, and right now that's a little more than, that's about 60% of the way full. So things are looking good. Second stage is getting ready to begin the liquid oxygen loading. After they finish chilling in the lines that you see on the monitor, they'll begin the load at T-minus 16 minutes and 30 seconds. The range right now is go, ready to support. Weather continues to be go. As we inch our way closer, we're keeping our fingers crossed. We're waiting to hear if anybody calls out an issue, but for the moment, as you can see on the screen, it looks good. Now, on the Dragon side, the Dragon mission director and the team there are reporting no issues. They've done their communications checkouts. The crew access arm, as you can see, is retracted away from the spacecraft. The crew is strapped in, and they are ready to go. Now, final instructions will be going to the crew at T-minus 10 minutes. The crew displays will be configured for launch, and that setup will give astronauts Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley insight into how the launch is proceeding and provides constant updates on vehicle health. We've already heard the crew give their go, close their visors, and get ready for launch. For Dragon, it'll enter terminal count at T-minus 5 minutes. When it transitions to internal power, we'll hear continued call-outs on the countdown net as we get close to zero and to liftoff. But right now, at T-minus 18 minutes, 15 seconds, everything continues to be go for an on-time launch. So, Dan, Jesse, things are looking pretty good. How are they doing over at your stand?
Things are great from about 15 feet away from you, John, and honestly, things are looking pretty great down at the pad there. We're seeing a lot more blue in the sky. Green is the color we want when we're talking about weather, and that's where we're sitting right now. So we're continuing to count down. We are under 18 minutes away from liftoff. Again, it's an instantaneous liftoff it's going to be 12:22 and 45 seconds here on the West Coast, 3:22 and 45 seconds over on the East Coast there in Florida. Just a reminder, it's going to be about a 9-minute ride up to orbit for the Falcon 9 and Bob and Doug on board Dragon. It'll be a 2-stage flight, so we'll see the first stage fly until we hear MECO, or main engine cutoff, about 2.5 minutes into flight. After that, the second stage will take over and continue to power them the rest of the way. Second engine cutoff comes in just under 9 minutes at about 8 minutes and 44 seconds. Following that second stage completing its job, it'll continue to coast for about 3 minutes. It'll do a slight attitude adjustment and null out any rates, so make sure it's not in any kind of a spin before they do separation. So that's when the Dragon spacecraft will physically separate from the Falcon 9 vehicle, and Bob and Doug will be flying free. it's about a 19-hour ride if we launch today on time. So that means Bob and Doug will get on orbit. They'll have a number of burns or those firings of those Draco thrusters that they'll do over
Stage 2 LOX load started.
We hear the LOX. The liquid oxygen load has now started on stage 2. But again, they're going to be doing a series of burns on the way uphill towards the International Space Station 5, spread out over the first 16 hours or so of their flight until they get much closer and it's time for that approach and docking. And we are expecting that with an on-time launch to happen today. That'll be coming tomorrow in the afternoon. All right, now that we're under 16 minutes away, we have a special guest joining us. I'm going to toss it over to Jesse.
We are T-minus 15 minutes and 45 seconds from liftoff of our Shot will join us. Thanks, Quinn, for coming out and taking a few minutes to chat with us.
Thanks, Jesse.
We know you've been on console. How's the countdown been going so far in there?
Countdown is clean today, just like it was Wednesday. We did clear the weather hurdles sooner than we did on Wednesday. And the only thing we're watching right now is downrange weather and lightning at the staging location.
Of course.
But we will clear that hurdle at T-minus 7 minutes.
Awesome. Great. Very exciting. Now I'm going to throw it back to 2012 because you were on console for Dragon when it was first making its way to the space station. How does that experience compare to today?
Stage 2 LOX is on the DPUs.
So I was nervous then. I stopped getting nervous for launches. Today I'm nervous again. Super nervous. Stomach and throat.
Understandable.
No, it's a fantastic day today. I'm really excited. The team is pulled together. It's such a professional operation. And when I say team, by the way, I mean SpaceX and NASA. These folks have been working incredibly hard and have done a fantastic job.
Yes, and we are all so excited. And we know that you have to get back inside of Mission Control, but is there anything that you wanted to say before liftoff to NASA and SpaceX?
Well, I want to thank NASA, of course, for their generosity and their help with getting to this place. I want to thank all the SpaceXers who have come together to make this moment in history. And I want to thank Elon for hiring me.
We thank Elon for hiring you as well. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll let you get back to Mission Control. And good luck with launch today.
Thanks, Jesse, and Godspeed, Bob and Doug.
Well, we are so excited. We are just a few minutes away from countdown, so we are going to turn it over to Dan and John for the final minutes in terminal count. Take it away, John.
T-minus 13 minutes, 30 seconds, continuing to count down. We're continuing to load fuel onto the first stage. That should finish up in just about 6 minutes. Fuel is completely loaded on the second stage. That's closed out. And we are continuing to load liquid oxygen on both the first and second stage. The liquid oxygen load beginning on the second stage just about 3.5 minutes ago. We are also loading cryogenic helium into the storage vessels on the first and second stage, getting in the last little bits of helium when we keep it cryogenic, cold and liquefied. That gets us, just like we do with liquid oxygen, the maximum amount into the storage volume so that we can get the most performance out of the vehicle. Right now, we are in a fairly quiet state on the vehicle. Ground pumps continuing to put the propellant in to first and second stages. Next significant issue callouts that we're going to hear will probably be inside the T-minus 10 minutes when they talk to the crew. We'll listen for that. But at the moment, everything continuing to look good at T-minus 12 minutes and 20 seconds.
We're getting real close now, John. It's only a little over 12 minutes away. Just a reminder for everybody, it's about a 9-minute ride uphill. We'll have some dueling boxes going on as that first stage is going to be coming home while the second stage is carrying Bob and Doug into orbit. But obviously, we'll be keeping an eye on our astronauts the whole way uphill. Some of the calls that you'll be hearing, as there will be what we call performance calls over the Dragon to ground the entire way uphill. and you'll just hear some of the SpaceX engineers calling out trajectories and booster performance. So we're always looking for that word nominal. I know that's one of John's favorite words. That's one of mine too. We want to hear nominal as much as possible up on the way uphill. You might also hear some number and letter combinations, and those correspond to the different abort zones that Bob and Doug are in during their flight uphill. There's 1A and 1B, which signify that they're on the first stage. Those carry them from there in the Cape all the way up to about the very top of North Carolina. And then we'll have 2A through 2E or 2 Echo, and that will be on the second stage, and that goes from North Carolina all the way up to about the tip of Newfoundland, so in the northern Atlantic. And then there is a zone of the northern Atlantic that we're going to avoid, and so you should hear the call out be something similar to forward to Shannon, and that just refers to Shannon, Ireland, which they'll be going off the coast of Ireland at the later stages of the second stage if they have to abort. So just prepping you now for some of those calls. You're hopefully going to hear that word nominal a whole lot on the way uphill. 10.5 minutes. Things are pretty quiet. As John I said, it'll pick up right at about 10 minutes. We'll wait for the crew just to confirm that their displays are in order. The crew is already strapped in and reported that they are go for launch. And we'll continue to watch the fuel gauges tick up on the Falcon 9 vehicle until fueling cuts off at just about 2 minutes prior to launch.
Dragon, SpaceX confirmed displays are configured for launch.
SpaceX Dragon displays are configured for launch.
Copy. Bob, Doug, on behalf of the entire SpaceX team, it's been a huge honor to help you get ready for today's historic mission. Know that we're with you. Have an amazing flight and enjoy those views of our beautiful planet.
Thanks, Jay. It is absolutely our honor to be part of this huge effort to get the United States back in the launch business. We'll talk to you.
Estamos en vivo. Ya le dan el ok, estamos a 9 minutos de que arranque el despegue de SpaceX.
SpaceX core, so again, that voice that's going to be talking to Bob and Doug throughout their mission from right here in Hawthorne, just offering a few quick words. The crew did confirm their crew displays are configured for launch. We are coming up on 9 minutes and counting.
We've gotten through T-minus 10 minute with the crew discussions. Activity is now going to switch over to Falcon 9. Our next major event comes at T-minus 7 minutes. We begin what we call engine chill. Pre-valves will open. Those currently separate propellants on the first stage from getting down to the Merlin engines. We'll open the pre-valves. That allowed fuel liquid oxygen to flow to the top of the pumps. And more importantly, when we open the valves, that allow us to begin chilling the 9 Merlin 1D turbopumps on the first stage engine. It'll take a few minutes to get them cold enough to where they would then be ready to pass the large amounts of liquid oxygen through the pumps and into the main thrust chambers when we get to engine ignition at T-minus 2 seconds. We don't want to try to run highly chilled liquid oxygen through a warm pump. You would flash that into gas, and running gas through a high-speed pump is not a good thing. So right now, we are waiting for T-minus 7 minutes. That'll start the engine chill. Shortly after that, we will also get the fuel shutdown. Listening to the SpaceX launch director in the background there. As I mentioned, at T-minus 7 minutes, as we start the chill, we will also get into the final topping off of stage 1 fuel, and then the fuel load will complete.
Están terminando de cargar combustible. ¡Wow! 7 minutos.
Stage 1 and Stage 2 engine chill has started.
Bueno, ya le están dando la orden.
We've heard the call out. Stage 1 engine chill has started. That's gone up to the crew,
Empiezan a
so that
prender
they've got
motores.
situational
Yo estoy
awareness.
súper
I
nervioso.
mentioned the pre-valves are open. And now we are topping off first stage fuel, getting
Chori
ready to
también dice, ya
finish
se
the
puso
fuel load.
nerviosa.
The
Estamos
liquid
todos
oxygen load
nerviosos.
on first and second
Engine
stage
control.
Vamos.
will continue until the last 3 to 2 minutes of the countdown.
Vamos.
We should hear that call out. RP1 load complete coming up in about 6 minutes. Again, RP1 is just that densified kerosene or that rocket fuel that Falcon 9 is going to be used to power Bob and Doug to orbit today.
Maravilloso, dice Silvana. Sí, la verdad que muchos nervios. Cada vez se va sumando más gente y vamos a cubrir por lo menos estos últimos 10 minutos del
And stage 1 fuel is
lanzamiento.
closed out.
Chin, chin, chirurén.
Right on time. That call out indicates that
5
the fuel
minutos.
loading on the first stage is complete. Draining back the lines now, so first stage and second stage fuel are complete. Liquid oxygen loading is continuing on both stages. You can see on the view on the left side of the monitor the condensation, the cold gas wrapped around the stages as the tank skins are chilled by the densified liquid oxygen, picking up the humidity
Falcon
from the
9 engine
Florida air.
offline.
It looks like at this moment we're a little more than 90% full on the oxidizer on the first stage,
90%
ticking up
del
towards that
combustible.
80% mark on the second
Ojalá que
stage.
todo salga bien.
We'll be counting down all the way till about 2 or 3 minutes, as John and I just said, until everything is loaded
Falcon
in
9
Falcon
heaters
9.
closing out.
And then we will be go for launch.
Dragon has transitioned to configure for terminal count.
Vehicle tanks pressing for strongback retract.
A ver.
We're pressurizing the Falcon 9 tanks. We're going to open the clamp arm around the second stage and begin to retract the strongback. We'll move back about
4
2
minutos,
degrees.
35
That'll get us
segundos.
to the liftoff position. At liftoff, the strongback will then recline about 45
Strongback
degrees
retract has
away.
started.
Tremendo. Me imagino las pulsaciones ahora de los astronautas.
Stage 2 RP1 bleed.
Launch director called out the strongback retract has started. On the left, you'll see it go back just a couple of degrees.
Stage 1 RP1 bleed.
Estoy más nervioso yo que ellos, me parece.
We are just 4 minutes away from liftoff. Again, at this moment, Bob and Doug are really just laser focused on those displays. They have insight directly into Dragon and the Falcon 9. They're able to see where their fuel loading is at, how everything's progressing down with the count.
AFTS final setup started.
Three and a half minutes from launch.
And the strongback is now reclining away from the Falcon 9.
Tres minutos 15 segundos.
MVAC igniter purges.
Uy, por Dios, qué nervios.
I'll go bleed.
Mati. Nico.
Dragon has transitioned to terminal
2 minutos
count and is on
51
internal count.
segundos.
Stage 1 LOX load
Esto es
closed out.
histórico,
Okay, we're at T-minus 2 minutes, 42 seconds.
The final
Stage
countdown,
1
sí,
launch
señor.
load is closed out. Stage 2 will continue to load for about another half a minute or so. Once we get the completion of Stage 2 LOX loading, we have to vent down the line, so you'll see another large white cloud coming off of the strongback. That'll be normal. That'll happen
Vehicle
around
is transitioning to internal
T-minus
power.
1 minute and 40 seconds. We're going on internal power now.
Just a few seconds away from the stage 2 LOX load being
Ay, 2
complete.
minutos.
It's been
Atentos
almost
al
9
despegue.
years since we've been in this position. A lot of work done by thousands of people to get to this point. All our eyes focused on 2 now.
No sé qué son esas gotas de agua que se ven acá.
Stage 2 LOX load is closed out. Propellant fills are complete.
Dragon is in auto idle.
No, por Dios. Qué nervios. Me voy a tomar un mate
Stage
mientras.
2 LOX load complete. All fuel, all oxidizer on Falcon 9. 1 minute 34 seconds to go till launch.
1 minuto 31 segundos para el despegue. Está todo ok. Combustible ok. Uy, miren las manitos de los astronautas. Me imagino los nervios en este momento, ¿no? ¡Por Dios! ¡Woo!
Falcon 9 is in startup. Dragon is in countdown. FTS is armed for launch.
Escuchen los gritos
Under a
atrás,
minute
los
now,
nervios.
the FTS,
Está
the
todo
flight
ok,
formation
está todo
system
ok,
has been
todo
armed.
ok. ¡Vamos!
Dragon, SpaceX, go for launch.
SpaceX, go for launch. A
SpaceX
despegar,
Dragon,
vamos.
We're go for launch. Let's light this candle.
No, te encargo los nervios. Mirá cómo se agarran. Y sí, negro. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22. Cuéntenme de dónde lo están viendo los nervios. 19, 18, 17,
Stage 1 tanks
16,
pressing for flight.
15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
¡Woo!
Ignition.
Arranca,
Liftoff of the Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon. Go NASA. Go SpaceX. Godspeed, Bob and Doug.
Wow, despegó el SpaceX. Qué tremendo, qué distinto. La nueva generación de cohetes al espacio, un antes y un después para la era espacial. Suerte, muchachos.
T plus 30 seconds into this historic mission. Flying crew on board Dragon and Falcon 9, and look at them go.
Qué impresionante, de verdad que es impresionante.
M1D throttle down.
We're throttling down to get ready for the period of maximum dynamic pressure.
Presión dinámica
We're in the
máxima.
throttle bucket.
No, es mucha adrenalina.
Reports say all systems
Muy
are
buena
go.
velocidad.
Vehicle is supersonic.
We've exceeded Mach 1 on the Falcon 9.
1170 kilómetros por hora. Para que me voy a correr para que lo puedan ver acá. Me voy a venir de este lado.
Through max Q.
Copy 1 Bravo.
And we heard that 1 Bravo call out. That's just the second abort zone that they're in. They'll continue to be on this.
Mira la cabina, la transmisión, los tipos ahí tranquilos.
Switch over to the second. At this point, Bob and Doug pulling about 2.3 Gs, 2.3 times the Earth's gravity, already moving at over 1,500 miles per hour.
We've heard the call out for MVAC
2.800
engine
kilómetros
chill.
por
That's
hora.
getting the MVAC engine ready to light. That'll come at about 2:44 into flight. Right now, everything continuing to look good. Next major event.
Hasta ahora va todo bien.
Coming up.
Hasta ahora va
It's gonna
todo
be
bien.
the
Están
triple.
aplaudiendo. Está todo
We'll have main
perfecto.
engine cutoff of the 9 first stage engines, stage separation, and then ignition of the second
4.000
stage engine to
kilómetros
continue to
por
carry
hora.
astronauts into orbit.
Y entra en órbita. No, la verdad que es una cosa
Coming up in about
impresionante.
20 seconds.
M1D throttle down.
5.300 kilómetros por hora.
We heard we're throttling down the Merlin engines on the first stage.
Qué locura. Acá Enana lo está diciendo en Twitter. Qué locura. Sí, es una locura. Es una locura lo que estamos viendo.
And we have Nico.
Nico.
2 Alpha.
Falcon stage separation confirmed.
¡Wow! ¡Qué bueno que esté saliendo todo bien! Ahí empieza a desprender.
MVAC ignition.
Es increíble esto.
All right, we have stage separation confirmed. The first stage beginning its flight
La
back.
primera etapa de
The second
separación
stage
está
being
todo ok.
powered by that single Merlin 1D vacuum
6.000
engine has ignited.
Bueno, en realidad
and
sí.
is now carrying Bob
No, está
and
determinado en
Doug
kilómetros por
into
hora.
orbit. So they're going to continue under the power of this second
Stage
stage,
2 propulsion is nominal.
119 kilómetros.
which will cut off at Seco, or second engine cut off at about 8 minutes and 44 seconds into today's flight. So a little over 5 minutes to go still on this second stage. You heard the call out to Alpha, so they're now in the longest abort zone that carries them all the way from about North Carolina up the eastern seaboard almost to Canada. Things looking good, though, getting good call-outs, nominal propulsion on that second stage.
Es increíble.
Bob and Doug continuing to make their way into orbit.
Lo que debe ser estar ahí en esa nave en este momento y la etapa nueva que inicia este lanzamiento histórico
Dragon SpaceX nominal
hacia
trajectory.
un camino del turismo internacional.
SpaceX Dragon nominal trajectory.
La Crew Dragon. Mira las comunicaciones cómo funcionan.
Right,
esto es la puerta al futuro de los vuelos comerciales al espacio.
To make their flight uphill. Heard acquisition of Signal Bermuda. That's one of the other ground stations.
Para mí eso es la altura. Dice Home Rusa. Acá está Germán, espectacular, qué lindo. Bueno, vayan comentando en vivo. Estamos transmitiéndolo en vivo por YouTube, por Facebook, por Twitter, por todos lados. Ok, voy a tirar un par de traducciones. Este cohete es reutilizable, va a volver a aterrizar en tierra sin ningún tipo de daño, según lo que tienen calculado. Fernando Almada dice desde Uruguay, un abrazo, uruguayos queridos.
A little over 4 minutes, 40 seconds into the flight.
Acá me apunta a Diego Ruistein, izquierda, millas por hora, derecha altura. Acá dice kilómetros por hora, ¿eh?
Already almost 200
no dice
miles downrange.
Miles per hour. Dice kilómetros por hora.
Trajectory continuing.
Les tiro data de la empresa SpaceX que fue creada en 2002. Su dueño es Elon Musk, es el dueño de Tesla, el tipo que creó PayPal. Seguramente habrás usado para comprar alguna vez.
Uphill, looks like we are getting a view of the first stage as well.
Yep, on your right screen, you can see that first stage with the grid fins deployed. It's making its way back to attempt to land on our drone ship, Of Course, I Still Love You Today. And we're just about a couple minutes away from the entry burn, and that's where 3 of the 9 Merlin engines do ignite to help slow the vehicle down as it re-enters back into the Earth's atmosphere. And then after the entry burn will be the landing burn, which is just a single engine
Dragon SpaceX nominal trajectory.
And you heard
Nominal
starting chill for entry burn.
There's that call out. They are still on a nominal trajectory on Dragon, still on second stage, and that's that MVAC engine on second stage on your left screen. Again, on your right screen is that first stage booster coming back towards our drone ship, Of Course, I Still Love You. We're about a minute away from entry burn.
Meanwhile, that second stage continuing to power Dragon into
Acá
orbit.
Dice claro, kilómetros por hora, chicos.
Timer,
Speed,
that's going to
velocidad,
continue to burn until 8 minutes and 44 seconds into flight. So a little over 2 minutes from now, we'll hear the call out Seco. It'll then be a little
Stage 2 propulsion is still good.
A little over 3 minutes until Dragon physically separates from the second stage of the Falcon 9 after the upper
Dragon
stage gets a
SpaceX
chance.
nominal trajectory.
Dragon copies, nominal trajectory.
Continuing to check in with Bob and Doug as they are on a nominal trajectory. Just about 10 seconds away from that first stage, starting that entry burn on your right screen. We should be able to see that view live.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
And there is that entry burn beginning. This burn lasts about 36 seconds long.
Stage 2 FTS is saved.
Well, that entry burn continues. We're just about a minute away from Seco. We'll have a number of events all happen in rapid succession. It'll be the second engine cutoff.
Stage 1
we'll be looking for
down.
that stage 1 landing burn shortly after.
Actually, just within a few seconds of each other.
Saludos de Ecuador, gracias por la transmisión. Un abrazo,
Such
Remel.
a cool view on your left screen, seeing Bob and Doug on Dragon. Right now you can see the displays that they are seeing right now
198
themselves.
kilómetros, 22.000 kilómetros sobre hora, dice ahí. Creo que por un lado vemos la
We are coming
cabina
up
de los
25 seconds or
astronautas
so away from
y por otro
SECO,
lado
or
también el
second engine
desprendimiento de lo que va a
cutoff.
ser la parte del cohete que con los
This is also the point where
retropropulsores van a
Bob
volver
and
a la
Doug are
Tierra.
experiencing their highest G-force. We're seeing the counter tick up to right about 4.8.
Copy, Shannon.
You heard Shannon, so that just means they're in their final
Esto
abort
es
zones. If they
espectacular,
were to abort at this point, would either be an abort to orbit or to land off the coast of Ireland, standing by for second
Stage 1 landing
cutoff.
start.
Vamos a llegar, la
And
estratosfera.
back throttle step. And back shutdown. Stage 1 landing winner.
Miren lo que es la torre de control, todos
Confirmation
con
of
barbijos
SECO
también,
second
¿no?
engine cutoff.
Now we are
Ahí va a
waiting for our
aterrizar
first stage
el desprendimiento
to
del
make its way
cohete.
to our drone ship. Of
Impresionante.
course, I still love you.
Dragon SpaceX nominal orbital
Impresionante.
insertion.
Lo vamos a ver en vivo.
Confirmation
El desprendimiento.
Dragon
Copy.
insertion.
Nominal orbital insertion.
Me vuelvo
What
loco.
you're seeing on your screen is a live view of our drone ship, where our first stage will be coming down.
Esta es la
Looks like we
secuencia de
lost that
reentrada a la
live view,
Tierra, es
but
la primera etapa.
We'll wait for confirmation of that landing shortly here.
Falcon 9 first stage is successful.
La primera etapa.
And there you can see on your screen.
¡Ya está! No,
Falcon 9
no,
has
no,
landed.
tremendo.
This is the first Falcon 9 to carry
Tremendo.
to orbit, so very exciting for us.
Wow.
And
Mirá
as you can
dónde
see on your right screen,
aterriza.
Bob and
Dejate de
Doug
joder.
are still making their way to
Un
their
portaaviones
targeted
esperándolo,
orbit.
pim, adentro del círculo.
So exciting today.
Estos tipos son unos genios.
It doesn't
Qué
stop.
coordinación,
It does
qué
not stop.
impresionante.
All right, we did hear again that call out, good orbital insertion. So that means Falcon 9 and Dragon right now exactly where they're supposed to be.
And we need a FRC on recovery 1.
And it's right at about 12
Esto es parte de la
minutes
secuencia
when
de la
Dragon
reentrada a
will
la
separate.
Tierra. Me están viendo
Looks
desde
like we
Santa
saw a
Cruz, gracias,
0G
por
indicator
favor.
floating around there. I know Bob and Doug owe us
Mira, ahí están los
a little
astronautas
bit
con estos
about what
trajes súper
exactly that
hipermodernos.
is that they brought up with them.
Esto es algo histórico por muchas cosas. Época de coronavirus, lanzamiento de una nave hipermoderna.
And before
Parte del
separation,
envío
before
y
Dragon
parte de la
initiates
vuelta a la
separation
Tierra
from the second
es lo que a
stage,
la NASA
they
le
do
sirve
make
también
sure
para poder
to make-
aprobar este tipo
they
de
do ensure
aeronaves.
that
Está
the
bien,
vehicle
todo
is not
perfecto.
spinning and it is in good
Impresionante.
condition before we separate.
That's right. The upper stage does small attitude maneuver using some cold gas thrusters built into the rocket body itself.
Exactly. So we do expect that separation to occur in about a minute from now, but
Aterrizó
they do
con
wait
éxito
until
el
they have full
SpaceX.
confirmation that it is ready
Los
to
astronautas están
separate.
perfectos. Fíjense lo que es la cápsula por dentro, todo con pantallas
Such
táctiles
cool views.
comparado
I
con
cannot
ediciones
get over
anteriores.
this view that we are seeing right
Impresionante.
now. Bob and Doug on the right screen, inside of Crew Dragon, out in space.
Yeah, already 200 kilometers over planet Earth, or a little over 124 miles, traveling in excess of 2,700 meters, 27,000 meters per second, or about 16,000 miles per hour. Again, we're just standing by. That separation event should be coming up shortly. Then they'll begin a series of checks on the Draco thrusters that are going to be used to maneuver and then power Dragon on its flight to the International Space Station. Standing by for separation.
Expected loss of signal, wallops.
Wow.
It sounds like we had an
Acaba de
expected
despegar, ya lo
LOS
vamos a
loss of
repasar en un
signal with
ratito.
one of the ground stations.
Se los voy a mostrar de vuelta si lo quieren ver el momento del
Waiting for
despegue.
confirmation now of that
Dragon
setup.
separation
Lo
confirmed.
podemos ver acá.
Dragon separation confirmed.
Paren que
There
estamos
is a
viendo esta
great
parte que es
view right in
espectacular.
front of you
Countdown
of
one is
Dragon
emerged.
separating.
Separation confirmed.
La separación de la
And there's
cápsula
that call out.
está separándose,
Dragon
sí,
is
se
now
separó.
officially making its way to the International Space Station
Ahora sí se están
today.
dirigiendo a la estación espacial. Ya está la separación de la cápsula.
Dragon
Los astronautas ya
SpaceX, that
están
separation call.
yendo a
I'll
la
learn a few
estación
words for you
espacial.
from our
Impresionante.
Falcon 19.
La verdad que es impresionante. Me imagino, quiero que lo ponche la Elon Musk, el
Standing
dueño.
by.
Dragon, Chief Engineer on Dragon to Ground. Bob Doug, on behalf of the entire launch
Ya
team,
despegó
thanks for
Lucía.
flying the
Mirá dónde
Falcon
están.
9 today. We hope you enjoyed the ride and wish you a great mission.
No, esto es alucinante.
Thanks, Bala. Congratulations to you and the F9 team for the first human ride for Falcon 9.
Los primeros humanos que van en el Falcon 9 están agradeciendo obviamente todo. Es impresionante lo que está pasando porque qué agallas estos tipos, de verdad.
Thank you so much for what you've done for us today, putting America back into low Earth orbit from the Florida coast.
Tremendo. Ahora vamos a repasar en un ratito la transmisión.
All right, so Bob and Doug are in
Dragon
space.
SpaceX, we confirm nominal ECLS activation and service section Draco checkouts. Nose cone deploys in progress.
Copy all. We're monitoring.
The core here in Hawthorne giving the crew a heads up that we have confirmation the nose cone is deploying. So again, that nose cone is going to open up a little bit more than 90 degrees, goes up to about, I think, 105 degrees, and that's going to expose the actual docking ring and the hatch that they're going to be going through once they attach to the International Space Station. And also 4 of those Draco thrusters, we call them the forward bulkhead thrusters, they're going to be used for these major phase burns or firings of those thrusters to actually raise their orbit gradually over the coming hours. Also heard good activation of the ECLS, that's the Environmental Control and Life Support System. That's everything controlling their atmosphere, just keeping Dragon a nice, safe, habitable environment where they're going to be living for
Acá
the next 19
pregunta
hours
Denis hacia dónde se dirigen. Los astronautas están yendo a la estación
exactly. And
espacial.
Falcon 9's job may be done for today, but the mission is
Miren lo
not
que es el
over.
control de la
Crew
NASA.
Dragon's job
Todos los
is not
ingenieros que están
done.
ahí
As you can
controlando
see,
todos
Bob
los
and Doug are
movimientos.
still inside Crew
Fíjense
Dragon,
a la
making their
distancia
way.
donde
It will be a
están,
19-hour trip to the International
la calidad
Space
de transmisión que
Station
logran.
before they
Es impresionante.
dock tomorrow morning.
No sé si escuché bien, pero creo que mañana a la mañana.
And such cool views. I love that we can get these live views here and see and watch what they're doing now that they are in orbit.
Yeah, it's incredible to just be looking over their shoulder, to be along for the ride. And we're going to be with them, and we're going to be with all of you the entire way for their journey to the space station. We're going to be covering live
esto quería contarles. Desde ahora hasta que se acoplen a la estación espacial van a tardar unas 19 horas, por eso va a ser mañana a la mañana, eso quería llevar. Desde ahora hasta que lleguen a la estación espacial, 19 horas van a tardar en acoplarse a la estación espacial.
So they're actually going to be using those touchscreen displays to take control and manually pilot Dragon. We'll walk you through what that's going to look like, and assuming we have some good ground station coverage, we'll be able to get views from right inside Dragon, looking over their shoulder as they manipulate the controls at the display. But I mean, we had a smooth ride uphill both stages of the
hacia la
Falcon
estación
9
espacial.
doing
Te
their
respondía
job,
vos, Denis.
placing Bob
Pueden
and
ir
Doug in
comentando en
orbit.
vivo desde dónde lo están viendo todo.
This is a
Gracias
day,
a los que están
this
mandando
is a
mensajes.
historical day. This
Yo
is
voy a
us
transmitir un ratito
kicking
más nada
off that
más.
new era of space flight that we've all been
Quería ser
talking
parte de
about
este
and
momento en
longing
vivo.
for since the space shuttle program came to an end in 2011.
Yes.
And the weather cooperated.
El tiempo colaboró, dice
Second
uno de
time's a
los relatores acá. Gracias a Dios colaboró. Miren, así
so
fue como despegó. Ahí se los voy a mostrar.
As you can
Acá
see,
le dieron
we
el ok.
have lost some live
Ya lo
signal
vamos
there,
a
but the mission still
mostrar en vivo el
continues,
momento donde
and we're
despegaba.
going to send it over to KSC to
Ahora
continue
sí,
broadcasting.
les voy a mostrar el momento del despegue otra vez para que lo puedan ver y para que puedan repasar este momento histórico a los que se acaban de sumar. Lo que aterrizó, ahí te lo cuento, es parte del cohete que estaba todo programado. Este era el momento donde despegaba. Ahí lo están repasando, mirá. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mira, mira, mira. ¡Boom! Chao, papá.
Liftoff of the Falcon 9
No, 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 no.
Dragon. Go NASA, go SpaceX.
Impresionante.
Godspeed,
Impresionante.
Bob and Doug.
Así despegaba. Bueno, desde Perú nos están viendo también. Gracias, San Juan. Desde Quilmes, Román. Desde San Juan, provincia. Julieta, hola. Ahí te conté recién lo del cohete. Así despegaba el SpaceX hace un ratito nada más. Lanzamiento que ha sido perfecto, ¿eh? Perfecto por donde lo veas.
T plus 30 seconds into this historic mission.
Qué increíble.
Flying crew on board Dragon.
Y ahora van a tardar más o menos unas 19 horas hasta que se puedan acoplar la transmisión espacial. Estamos
This is what
transmitiendo
it's
en
all
vivo
about, and their
y acá, bueno,
families,
empieza el
and
análisis
everyone
y
is
la
working
emoción de
together
todos.
to take
Pero
them
verdad
up
que hay
to
otros
space
momentos
safely. So,
importantes, mira, ahí
I
se
don't know
los
what
voy
to
a
say.
mostrar.
That rocket fuel is still in my.
Fue el momento donde
in my
también
veins, and,
desprendieron
I wanted to get on the rocket.
la cabina,
Continue to carry
parte del
astronauts
cohete
into
y
orbit.
lograban ubicarlo en este portaaviones.
Coming up in
Desde
about
Chaco,
20
gracias. Desde
seconds.
Venezuela, dice Francisco, gracias. Desde Zárate, Lucía, se me corta el wifi. Bueno, acá lo tenés.
We heard we're
Ahora es en el
throttling down the Merlin
desprendimiento.
engines on the first stage.
Y acá, eso que están viendo acá en mi cabeza es parte del propulsor que se vuelve a utilizar para más adelante. Y fíjense ustedes cómo lo calzaron justo en un portaaviones. Es increíble. La verdad que es impresionante. André León, de Ituzaingó, gracias.
Also the point where Bob and Doug are experiencing their highest G-force. We're seeing the counter
está.
tick up to right about
Shannon.
4.8.
Copy, Shannon.
You heard Shannon, so that just means they're in their final abort zones. If they were to abort at this point,
Y ahora
would
van a
either
ver
be
la
in
imagen
abort to
cuando llega
orbit or
justo
to
a
land
este
off the
portaaviones.
coast of Ireland, standing by for second
Stage one landing
cutoff.
Les dije que desde ahora el acoplamiento hasta la estación espacial va a tardar unas 19 horas.
And back shutdown. Stage one landing winner.
Buenísimo. Ya está todo
Confirmation
separado y
of
ahora es el
Seco,
momento
second
donde...
engine cutoff.
Mire cómo llega, mira. Miren esto. Esta es la parte del propulsor del
make
cohete
its
que lo
way
llevó
to
hasta
our
arriba.
drone
Miren cómo
ship. Of
aterriza
course,
acá en ese
I
círculo
still
perfecto.
SpaceX nominal orbital insertion.
Miren.
Launch escape system
Confirmation.
is
Le viajé a la
Nominal
estratosfera con el Carlos.
Landing light deploy.
Mira lo que es esto.
What you're seeing on your screen
Miren,
is
ahora
a
lo van a
live
ver
view of
desde
our
Uruguay.
drone ship, where our first stage will be coming down.
Ahí está.
Looks
Ahí
like
está,
we
ahí
lost
está, ahí
that
está.
live view, but we'll wait for confirmation of that landing shortly here.
Falcon 9 first stage successfully landed.
And
aboard.
there you
Cortaron la
can see on
transmisión
your
y justo
screen,
aterrizó. Vos decís.
Falcon 9 has
Pero bueno, ahí está.
landed.
Perfecto.
This
Aterrizó
is the
perfecto.
first Falcon 9 to carry humans
Desde
to
Perú,
orbit,
gracias.
so very exciting for
Bueno,
us.
ahí está.
And as you can see on your right screen, Bob and Doug are still
Falcon 9
Y esto
doing
está
their
pasando
job,
en este
placing
momento.
Bob and Doug in orbit. I mean, this is
Bueno,
this
good
is a
people.
day. This is a historical day.
Quería
This is
mostrarles un
us
poquito este
kicking
lanzamiento
off
que queda
that new
registrado.
era
Lo van a
of
poder ver
space
cuantas
flight that
veces
we've
quieran.
all
Lo dejo
been
subido acá en
talking
Twitter, en
about
mi
and
YouTube.
longing for
Y lo dejo en
since the
Facebook
Space
también.
Shuttle program came to an
Que
end
anden
in
muy pero muy bien.
2011.
Y gracias,
And the weather, the
un
weather
abrazo inmenso para
cooperated.
todos
Yes.
ustedes. Que anden muy
Second
bien, el
time's a
clima
charm.
colaboró, todo se vio. Sí,
All right,
eso fue un
so
poquito
day
raro,
for the
pero bueno,
history
llegó, así que está
books.
todo perfecto.
As
Bueno,
you can see,
gracias.
we have
Lo
lost
van
some
a
live
seguir
signal
viendo
there,
acá.
but the mission still continues, and
Obviamente que
we're
la
going
misión
to send it
continúa. Me parece que lo más importante es charlar, ¿no? El acople que lo vuelve a transmitir en 19 horas, bueno, vamos a ver si llego, si puedo. León con 5 años emocionado.
Some burns. We're going to have some phasing burns. We're going to have some boosting burns, and we're going to get as much as we can in alignment with the International Space Station as early as possible here, but also.
Bueno, acá está diciendo esta persona de NASA que ahora lo que se espera obviamente es el acople a la estación internacional.
Who have now gone through this exercise twice. They need to get some rest. But I can guarantee you there will be no rest for a good amount of time while they're up there in orbit.
And they are certainly on their way, and a lot of people joining us for this entire celebration and watching it. We just heard 10 million people watching live as this launch
10 millones de personas viendo esto en vivo, más o menos. Bueno, la verdad que es un lanzamiento que ha sido perfecto. Podemos repasar algunas cositas. Lanzar obviamente este viaje tripulado era uno de los máximos objetivos de SpaceX. Lo hizo Elon Musk con su empresa SpaceX y la NASA. Y a los 12 minutos donde despegaba, se cumple el segundo hito del proceso, que fue separarse el segundo módulo. Que, a diferencia de lo que fue el Falcon 9, que era el encargado del impulso inicial, no se recupera para las misiones futuras. Tema importante. A ver qué más tenemos acá. Los astronautas que fueron, ven que tiene licenciatura en física, en ingeniería mecánica, es ingeniero de prueba de la Fuerza Aérea Estadounidense. 1500 horas de vuelo antes a través de 25 aeronaves diferentes. Tiene uno impresionante. En el 2000 se unió a la NASA. Qué increíble. En 2008 ya se fue en el Endeavor, que fue el transbordador. Y antes de subir esta Crew Dragon, esta cápsula, ya tenía 708 horas en el espacio. Impresionante. Y Harley, el licenciado en Ciencias de Ingeniería Civil, son dos cracks. Y tiene más de 640 horas en el espacio. Dos astronautas impresionantes. Bueno, gente, que tengan un excelente día. Gracias por acompañarme. Ya está cumpliendo 50 minutos de transmisión más o menos. Espero que lo hayan disfrutado y lo pueden compartir con quien quieran.